everybody! Today, let's hook this owl together. You can think of it as a little pendant. Hang it on the bag, on the key. This color scheme can be matched freely. A total of 2 colors are hooked. One is that the hat is red. A hat is gray. They ray all very nice. What's next? Let's hook this owl together. First, let's hook owl's head and body parts. Let's make a loop like this first. And then, thread the crochet through this loop. Make the loop small, then wrap the yarn around your left hand. Let's hook the chain stitches first. Crochet around the yarn and pull it over. This is a chain stitch. According to this method, a total of 10 chain stitches will be hooked. 3. Just hook a total of 10 chain stitches. Okay, 10 chain stitches are done. Then we're going to hook it backwards. Thread the crochet inside the 9th chain stitch. In this stitch, hook 3 single crochets at the same time. Thread the crochet in. The crochet presses the yarn and pulls it over, then through 2 loops together. This is a single crochet. Mark the first single crochet. Let's take a look. The single crochet is a V shape like this, and still in the first stitches. Hook 2 more single crochets. Threading crochet hooks the thread and pulls it over. This is the second stitch. You put another stitch in it. The 3 single crochets in the same stitch. This stitch is represented by the letter symbol W. So then inside each stitch in the back, just hook a single crochet in each stitch. Hook 7 stitches in a row. The 8th stitch is hooked inside. Then put a stitch in the 7th stitch. There is a stitch inside the 6th stitch. The 5th stitch is hooked inside. The 4th stitch is hooked inside. The 3rd stitch is hooked inside. The 2nd stitch, after the hook is done. So that's a combination. This round is hooked twice in total. We're going to hook a second time. Thread the crochet into the first stitch. 3 single crochets on the hook. That is, hook a W. What's next? We continue to hook 7 single crochets. Hook a single crochet inside the 2nd stitch. There is a stitch in the 3rd stitch. There is a stitch in the 4th stitch. There is a stitch hooked inside the 5th stitch. A stitch hooked inside the 6th stitch. A stitch hooked inside the 7th stitch. Then hook a stitch inside the 8th stitch. Take the thread at the end of this thread and take it out for it like this. Okay, the first round is done. After the first round, there are 20 single crochets in total. We used a stitching method of a spiral hook. No need to connect. We went straight to the second round, and we learned to look at this crochet diagram. For the second round, we first hooked a separate single crochet. Thread the crochet into the first stitch. Hook a separate single crochet. Mark it. Then, hook a W in the next stitch. Hook 3 single crochets. Let's take a look. 3 single crochets went through the stitches. This is represented by the letter symbol W. The single crochet is represented by the letter symbol X. 1 single crochet and 1 W. We hooked another 8 individual single crochets. Two stitches, 3 stitches. 4 stitches, 5 stitches. 6 stitches, 7 stitches, 8 stitches. Let's take a look. So that's one big combination. A single crochet. then a W, then 8 single crochets. We need to hook this round twice. Now let's go ahead and hook the second time. First hook a separate single crochet. Next hook a W. 3 stitches come out of the same stitch. Okay, so finally, there are 8 stitches left. Okay, we're hooked for the second round. It becomes 20 for single crochets. Then the third round. We also looked at the diagrams to hook. Hook 2 single crochets first, then hook a W, and then 9 single crochets. What about this combination? You need to repeat the hook twice. First hook 2 separate single crochets. Mark the first stitch. 2 single crochets. Then thread the crochet into the third stitch. Hook a W. Okay, next, hook 9 single crochets, 9x. And we learn to look at this crochet diagram. In this case, we can see the diagram later. Crochet a small part alone. Okay, it was done the first time. 2 single crochets and 1 W. Then 9 single crochets. So we hooked a second time. 2 single crochets. Then a W. Next 9 single crochets. Okay, we're done for the third round. After the hook is done, it becomes 28 single crochets. Then for the fourth round, 1 single crochet in each stitch. Just hook these 28 single crochets. Everyone follow me to hook. The first stitch is still marked. Okay, take a look at our fourth round. This round is hooked. Now we go on for the fifth round. For the fifth round, we followed 3 single crochets, a W, then 10 single crochets. Repeat 2 times. Hook 3 single crochets first. The first stitch is marked. Second stitch. The third stitch and 3 single crochets are hooked. The next W. And then 10 single crochets. Let's take a look. Done the first time. What's next? Let's hook it a second time. 3 single crochets. The next W. And finally, 10 single crochets. So after we hook the fifth round, it becomes 32 single crochets. All right, the 5th round is hooked. The next 6th to 8th rounds, 1 single crochet in each stitch. Just hook these 32 stitches. Everyone follows me until the 8th round. All right, we hooked all the way to round 8. We're going to do the 9th round, mainly to teach everyone how to reduce stitches. The decrease is in this left and right place. Just hook decrease. It's basically going in this left-right direction. Let's hook for single crochets first. Mark the first stitch. Second stitch. Third stitch. Fourth stitch. Now we hook a decrease. The decrease is represented by the letter A. The 5th and 6th stitches. Reduce to 1 stitch. First through the front loop of the 5th single crochet. Then through the front loop of the 6th stitch. Go through the front 2 loops at the same time. Crochet hook yarn. Pull over. Put the 2 last loops together. This is a decrease. The decrease is represented by the letter A. When you see the letter A, just hook like this. Next, we hooked 14 single crochets accordingly. Okay, after hooking these 14 single crochets, next hook a decrease. Combine the next 2 stitches into 1 stitch. You start by going through the front loop of the stitch. Through another front loop the stitches. Then crochet. The hook yarn passes through the front 2 loops. Then put the last 2 loops together. This is a decrease. We can hook another 10 single crochets. 10 stitches left. After this round is hooked, we lost 2 stitches. 30 single crochets in this round. What about the hook on the 9th round? We learned how to hook single crochets and decrease. After you hook this 9th round, just look at the diagrams. Round the back rounds 10 to 16. Just hook it all. So just hook the diagram. We've been following the diagram. Hook to round 16. 16 single crochets left. We put PP cotton in it and filled it up. Next, we continue to hook the 17th round. On the 17th round, you can hook 8 decreases in a row. Let's hook. The first decrease. Mark it well. Then the second decrease. The third decrease. Fourth decrease. Fifth decrease. Sixth decrease. Seventh decrease. Then the 8th decrease. That's it. After hooking, lengthen the thread. Cut directly. Let's close the last place. Take a look. There are 8 stitches left. Through the front loop of each stitch. Pick them all up like this. Then tighten this place, and there will be no holes. Thread the tail of the thread through the other parts like this. Cut the long part directly. Let's take a look. The head and body parts of our owl. It's done. So then, we're going to hook his mouth. We use this yellow yarn to hook. Let's take a look. Make a loop like this first. Crochet in. Pull down appropriately. Let's hook 3 chain stitches first. After the hook is done, then in the first chain stitch, 2 half double crochets on the hook. How to hook a half double crochet? First, crochet the thread around it. Then thread the crochet into the first stitch. Hook the yarn and pull it over. At this time, there are 3 loops on the crochet. We pull yarns. Thread these 3 loops through at the same time. This is a half double crochet. Then still in the stitches, you hook another half double crochet. The half double crochet is represented by the letter symbol T. And what happens is, the 3 loops come together. Let's take a look, and then pull the yarn over. We're done with the mouth. It's very simple. Leave a long tail, easy to sew later. This is the part of our mouth. So what's next? Let's hook his feet. This stitch is different. You start with a magic ring. Run the thread around your finger. Take it down. Lay the yarn with your left hand. Then pinch this place with your left hand. Crochet in. Wrap the thread around and pull it over. First hook a chain stitch. Fix it. And then we threaded a stitch through the round. Hook a single crochet. Thread the crochet and hook the thread and pull it over. First hook a single crochet. Next, hook to half double crochets. Hook to 2T. Let's hook in the loop. And what you do is you thread crochet through the round. Pull the yarn over. Then pull these 3 loops together. This is a half double crochet. As mentioned earlier, you hook up a half double crochet. Here are 2 half double crochets. Okay, next hook a double crochet. Double crochets need to be wounded like half double crochets around the yarn. And what about threading the stitches? Hook the yarn. Pull over. There are 3 loops. After that, we first parallel the first 2 loops and together. And then what about the 2 loops, parallel and stitched together? This is a double crochet. What's next? We hooked a triple crochet. Crochet winding twice. Thread the stitches in. Hook the yarn and pull it over. There are 4 loops on the crochet. First parallel the first 2 loops. And then parallel the 2 loops. And then parallel the 2 loops. The triple crochet is a 3-time stitch. After the hook is done, hook a chain stitch. And we're at this place above this triple crochet. Let's take a look. Pick this place to connect. It's this place in front of it. Pick this yarn to connect it. This is a dog tooth stitch. Pick this place to thread the stitches. Hook the yarn and pull it over. Bring it here. It's a dog tooth stitch. And then in the magic ring, hook a double crochet. Parallel twice. Then hook to half double crochets. First half double crochet, then the second half double crochet. Okay, after the hook is done, and thread the crochet through this round. Hook a single crochet. Okay, take a look. Tighten this thread tail again. We're done with this foot. Hook the yarn and pull it over. Leave a long tail. Cut directly. Let's take a look. And we're done. You have to hook 2 of these feet. What's next? Let's hook the eye part with a white yarn. Take a look. It's still starting in magic rings. Take it off and put the thread on with your left hand. Crochet in. Wrap the thread around and pull it over. First hook a chain stitch. Fix it. So we're going to thread the stitches through the loop. Hook out 6 single crochets. First single crochet. Mark it well. Then the second single crochet. Third single crochet. Fourth single crochet. Fifth single crochet. Sixth single crochet. Okay, after the hook is done, pull this small thread tightly. This will form a small disc. Next, take a look. Here we go for the second round. First of all, in the first stitch we marked, hook a single crochet. Thread the crochet through the first stitch. The end of the yarn is hooked horizontally on it. Hook a single crochet first, and then still in the first stitch. Hook a half double crochet. Thread the crochet round the yarn. Pull the yarn out, 3 loops together, and then in the second stitch, you hook a single double crochet, then hook a single crochet. It's the same process as just now. It's sort of the reverse of that. In the second stitch, you hook a half double crochet, and then a single crochet. These 2 stitches come from the same stitch. Then we V-hook this place. Our eye is very simple. So what's next? Let's connect it again. Thread the crochet into the third stitch. Then hook the yarn and pull it over, straight to the back loop. This is a slip stitch. Tension. Pull the yarn over. Cut directly. You can leave a long yarn tail. Easy to sew later. The eye part also needs to hook too. We're done with the eyes. So we're going to hook off the hat. Long hat. It is also the method of magic ring starting. Round your fingers. Take it down. Around your fingers. Change your left hand and pinch this place. Crochet in. Wrap the yarn around and pull it over. Then hook a chain stitch first. Next, thread the crochet into the loop. 6 single crochets in the first round. Mark the first stitch. First hook 6 single crochets. Let's take a look. After the hook is done, pull this thread tail hard. The first round is done. The next 2nd to 7th rounds, a single crochet in each stitch. Everyone follow me. Hook to the 7th round. We got to the 7th round. There are 6 single crochets in the first 7 rounds. Next, from the 8th round, you need to add stitches. What about increase? We use the letter for V to represent it. That is to say, 2 single crochets in each stitch. Well, first of all, in the first stitch, hook an increase. Mark the first stitch, and then in the first stitch. Then hook a single crochet. This is an increase. Let's use the letter V. The 2 stitches come from the same stitch. After the hook is done, put the back 5 stitches inside. Hook 5 single crochets accordingly. It becomes 7 single crochets. Then the 8th round. We have a new letter symbol V. It's in the stitches. Just repeat the 2 single crochets. Everyone follow me. After hooking this 8th round, then round the following rounds 9 to 16. All hooked. So just follow the diagram. We've been following the diagram. Hooked round 16. Now it's 9 single crochets. And round 17, 1 increase and 3 single crochets. Then repeat 3 times. Let's take a look. Well, first in the first stitch, hook a V, that is, hook 2 single crochets. Mark the first stitch. Then put on another stitch. This is a V. Next hook 2 single crochets. 2x occupies 2 stitches. Then 1 V and 2 single crochets. It's a combination. This round is hooked 3 times in total. Hook an increase first. Then 2 single crochets. It was hooked the second time, and then a third time. 1 increase. 2 single crochets. So after the hook on round 17, we become 12 single crochets. So what's next? We just looked at the diagrams. Hook round 18 to round 33. I put the diagram on the screen. So just hook the diagram all the way. Hook all this hat. We've been following the diagram. Hook the hat on round 33, 3 single crochets and 1 increase. Repeated hook 9 times. So now we do the last round. We hooked a round of single crochets. Before, when we hooked forward, right? We're not going to hook ahead this time. We'll start at the back. Hook backwards. First hook a chain stitch. We're not going to put the stitches forward. Directly, just thread the crochet in the back part. Thread the crochet from the position of the last stitch. Hook the yarn, pulling over a single crochet, or the way to hook a single crochet. That's how you thread the stitches backwards. A single crochet is hooked inside each stitch. We also call it a reverse hook single crochet. Just follow this method. Hook this round. Let's take a look. That's it, all the way to the end. After the hook is done, let's stretch this out. Cut it off. Let's use a suture stitch to put this place again. Connect him. Here we are threading the needle at the beginning. Just connect him like this. Just connect this place. Our hatred is done. Okay, next. Let's sew 2 eyes onto this body. Let's take a look at the suture position. We counted backwards. Count up from this position on the first to last yarn. Just place it at the bottom of the 6th row. Sew the 2 eyes symmetrically like this. Sewing in this position. Everyone, follow me and sew your 2 eyes. Okay, after we sew up the two eyes, let's sew our mouths up again. The mouth is an inverted triangle. You can hide the end of this yarn first. Cut the long part directly. What about this mouth? Sew it in this position under the two eyes. That's it. After the mouth is sewn, what about the 2 feet? Just sew it symmetrically like this, sewed on the left and right sides of this body. Sew it like this. Just sew along this out yarn. Everyone follow me. First put these 2 feet of the owl, and the mouth part is all sewn up. We have 2 foots for this yellow mouth. It's all symmetrical and sewn. Just sew along this out yarn. It's attached to this body, and then we're on this eye. Install 2 small beads as part of this eyeball. Let's out yarn it with a yellow yarn, the claw part of this owl. It is hooked at this position in the middle of these 2 feet. Let's watch the process. Occupies a width of 2 yarns. We can thread the needle through this. Just pull the yarn up and down. That's it. And then we pop the other paws out. It's relatively simple. Thread the thread somewhere else. Cut the long part directly. Let's take a look. The part of our owl is done. What's next? Let's sew this hat up again. This is our long hat. Wear it on your head. What about the previous part? It's part of our brim. What about the longest part of the brim? Put it in front. This place is relatively obvious. We can put it in the hat. Simply put a little PP cotton. Fill it in. And then we sew it on top of the head. We use this yarn to simply fix it. Just fix a few stitches. This way, our hats won't fall off. And we threaded this needle over this hat. Let's make a shape of this place above. You can bend it like this at will. Can round right. Then you can also bend to the left. Just sew out a shape you like. Today we bent him to the right. Just bend him down. Just fix it in this place. Make this place a little stronger. Later stage. We can hang it on this peg, on the key. Just hang it in this place. There is no need to add this cocaine or anything else. Seal this place. Hold out such a shape. Fix it up. Cut the long part directly. All right, our adorable owl is done. So that's the end of our tutorial today. Thank you for watching. See you in the next tutorial.